Legionnaires, please take your seats. Our event will start in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Our event will start in 1 minute.
Good afternoon. Please take your seats. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to Washington, D.C. All right. My name is Matthew Jabot from the Department of Maine, and I have the incredible honor of serving as the chairman of the National Legislative Commission. I would like to now call this Commander's Call to order. With the colors of our nation being in place, please render a hand salute by the numbers. 1, 2. If able, please remain standing and uncover. I call upon National Chaplain Michael Pollitt of New Hampshire to lead us in the opening prayer and to recognize the POW MIA empty chair. Chairman Pollitt.
Every time we meet as veterans, as members of the American Legion family, we pay tribute to the men and women whose example it has been and continues to be the living embodiment of President Kennedy's inaugural charge to the nation. President Kennedy, by the way, of American Legion Post 281, Boston, Massachusetts. For it is the American veteran, more than any other group of citizens, in times past and present, who have paid any price, borne any burden, met any hardship, supported any friend, and opposed any foe to assure the God-given gift of liberty. This, my brothers and sisters, is our legacy, which we honor whenever we meet. Let us pray. O God, our Creator and our Sustainer, we commend to your gracious care and safekeeping all men and women in uniform, home and abroad, and especially today. Defend them day by day with your grace and with your guiding hand. Strengthen them in their trials and give them courage to face the perils which may beset them. Bless the work we do today, and bless our commander, Dan Wiley. Grant to all veterans the assurance of this nation's undying gratitude for their efforts to secure and maintain the liberties we now enjoy. We also remember our homeless and hungry veterans and ask your blessing, dear Lord, on those who aid them this very day. May we, as members of the American Legion family, never shrink from our responsibility of caring for those who have borne the battle. All glory and honor be to you, Almighty God, forever and ever. Amen. Resolution 288, adopted by the 67th Annual National Convention, encourages the designation of a POW MIA chair or flag at all official meetings of the American Legion. This is a symbol of the thousands of American POW MIAs still unaccounted for from all the wars and conflicts involving our nation. With the POW MIA flag positioned to my left, let it serve as a reminder for all of us to spare no effort to secure the release of any American prisoners, the repatriation of the remains of those who have been killed in action, and a full accounting of those who are still missing. Let us rededicate ourselves to this vital endeavor. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Pollitt. I now call upon the Chairman of the National Veterans Education and Employment Commission, Mr. Paul Espinoza from the Department of New Mexico, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Follow me. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please recover. You may be seated. My fellow Legionnaires, welcome to the Commander's Call at the 66th Annual American Legion Washington Conference. It's an honor and a privilege to be here this evening with you and with you all. As the Chairman of the National Legislative Commission, my goal is to inspire and empower Legionnaires from across the country to connect with their congressional representatives and advance the legislative priorities of the American Legion. I hope that you all will leave here today equipped with the knowledge needed to engage members of Congress, their staff, and others about the important issues facing our nation's veterans and service members. Our influence is undeniable. We have the power of more than 2 million members of the American Legion family, and most importantly, our votes. These forces make us the most distinguished veterans service organization in the United States. And I now have the special honor of introducing our national commander. A member of Post 23 in Leavenworth, Kansas, the leader of our organization is an Air Force veteran who was elected to our highest office on August 28, 2025, during the National Convention in Tampa. He is a retired state district court judge and earned a law degree at the University of Kansas. After being appointed to the bench by his state's governor, he helped establish and presided over the Leavenworth County Veterans Treatment Court. He has held offices at every level of the American Legion and volunteered for numerous roles as a community leader. He and his wife Sonia are the proud parents of 2 children and a grandson. They also find time to raise cattle at their homestead in Leavenworth, Kansas. He is a passionate advocate for our Be the One mission to prevent veteran suicide and reminds us every day that the American Legion family is better together. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Commander of the American Legion, Dan K. Wiley.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Chairman Jabot. Ladies and gentlemen, American Legion family members, it's great to be here this morning. And just by the way, I'm a proud veteran of the United States Air Force. Absolutely. And I learned at breakfast this morning that no one would pretend to be Air Force, so I don't even have to prove it to you. Thank you. You know, first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are with our troops stationed in the Middle East right now and the families of those service members we've lost. Now, things are rapidly developing regarding Operation Epic Fury, but you can rest assured, number one, that we are watching the situation very closely, and number two, there will be plenty of time to debate Operation Epic Fury, but right now, the most important thing is we support our troops. And the world remains a dangerous place, as we know, and our pillar for a strong national defense is as necessary now as it was during the earliest days of the American Legion. Now, many of you know we are currently in a partial government shutdown, and there is never a good time to shut down our government. But times like this make it especially dangerous to not fully fund and pay the Department of Homeland Security. I am glad to see that most of you made it here, especially since many of you had to wait longer than usual through the TSA lines. You know, TSA agents have a challenging and oftentimes thankless job. I say this as someone who's probably flown on more flights since August than anyone in the room. And just remember, when you stand in those long lines, they exist to keep you safe. TSA staff, like all federal employees, deserve to be paid on time, every time. When DHS employees, which includes the United States Coast Guard, have to work 2 jobs to make ends meet, we all have a problem. This is how mistakes happen. Now, every government shutdown is unique. This latest shutdown, as I said, impacts Homeland Security. But it is quite possible that the next time it could be the Department of Defense or the Department of Veteran Affairs. And during the longest shutdown in history just last fall, a shifting of funds was required in order to meet the military's payroll. That was every branch, including the Coast Guard. Now, if the 2025 shutdown extended much longer, all U.S. service members could have easily missed paychecks. And now, once again, the Coast Guard is at risk of not being paid. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a national disgrace. It is essential that Congress address this issue and pass legislation that would ensure that every military branch, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard be paid throughout the duration of any government shutdown. Now, when I served in the Air Force, I knew that I would be paid twice a month, regardless of what was happening in Washington. Our military members and their families do not need the additional stress of wondering how they will pay their bills. Now, this year we have a robust legislative agenda, one that I will describe in great detail during my testimony Wednesday. We will focus the fairness of awarding the same educational benefits to Guard and Reserve members, regardless of whether their orders were issued by their governor or the President of the United States. A day of service should equal a day of service. We encourage Congress to expand alternative therapy options for veterans as they heal from the wounds of war. We will remember that women are the fastest growing demographic in the veteran community, and Congress has bills that will improve VA healthcare options unique to their needs. We will discuss the importance of eliminating the wounded veterans tax by passing the Major Richard Starr Act. We will advocate for a strong VA system that works in conjunction with community care program coordinated by the Veterans Health Administration. We support a lethal, well-trained, and well-armed military and understand that in all volunteer force, it is essential to recruiting that quality of life issues for our service members and their families be a priority. As most of you know, a secondary theme that I've adopted this year is Better Together. The phrase is printed on your current membership shirts, and I'm referring to how the American Legion, the American Legion Auxiliary, and the Sons of the American Legion are strongest when we function as a family. The same can be said with Congress. From the GI Bill to the PACT Act, the American Legion and Congress are at our best when we work together. Legion family, it is truly an honor to serve as your national commander. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and I'm honored to stand side by side, shoulder to shoulder with you. Thank you.
How about our commander, huh? All right. All right. Legion family, it's now my distinct honor to bring up our next guest, Pam Ray. Pam is currently serving as the national president of the American Legion Auxiliary, the largest veterans auxiliary organization comprised of women and men in the nation. Pam Ray was elected national president of the American Legion Auxiliary during the organization's 106th National Convention held August 22nd to 28th in Tampa, Florida. As national president, I have seen her engaging with the Legion family all over the nation, caring for those who need her, listening to our family, serving our veterans, and spreading the word of the American Legion. Legion family, please welcome our great friend and American Legion Auxiliary National President, Pam Ray.
Thank you, Commander Wiley, and to all American Legion family, friends, and guests from around the country gathered here for the 2026 Washington Conference. I'm honored to be standing before you with my fellow American Legion Auxiliary members from around our nation, supporting the American Legion's legislative priorities and continuing to advocate for our veterans, military, and their families. Together, we are stronger in numbers, rallying for those who served this country. We're always here to get the best legislation for our men and women in uniform and their families. The American Legion Auxiliary has always been and will continue to be the biggest supporter of veterans and national security issues promoted by the American Legion. Building rapport with our legislators and their staff is so important, and that's what we need to do together as a family on the Hill Day. There are many legislative items for us to discuss this year, but I want to briefly mention one that is dear to my heart, and that is the Major Richard Starr Act. We must urge our legislators to pass this bill. This will encourage our veterans This will ensure our veterans who no longer have their retirement pay reduced by the amount of the VA disability that they receive. They would receive 100% of both benefits, and that's what they deserve. We must stand together and let our senators and representatives know we are determined that our veterans are taken care of by the country they defended. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the American Legion Auxiliary Veterans and Affairs Rehabilitation Department chairs who are here with us today. These members are helping the American Legion family get the word out on this legislative action item, as well as many other important bills. I also want to recognize Dr. Lisa Chaplin, our National Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation Committee Chair from the Department of Virginia. Lisa and our Department VA&R chairs, as well as our National Vice President, Coral Makerout, will you please stand for recognition? Thank you again to the American Legion family for this opportunity to speak today and to be part of such an amazing family and incredible event. I look forward to making a difference with the important legislation we are all advocating for when it comes to our veterans, military, and their families. Thank you all very much.
No, we're good. We're just catching up. Give everybody a break for a minute. I'd now like to call on our friend Paul Espinoza from the Department of New Mexico, Chair of the Veterans Education and Employment Commission, for his report.
Kind of short there. Sorry. Good afternoon, National Commander Wiley, past National Commanders, National Officers, and honored guests. It is my pleasure to stand before you and report that Veterans Employment and Education Commission. The Commission met on Monday, March 2nd at Hilton in Washington, D.C. During our meetings, members heard from government officials and the industry's experts about the issues facing veterans today. We met with our Small Business Task Force to discuss veterans contracting preferences and veterans small business access to capital. Tomorrow, we will host defense industrial base experts to discuss the challenges impacting the U.S. defense industrial base. We have many important priorities on our agenda, but I will highlight two that Congress must fix now. First, we must strengthen our commitment to ending veteran homelessness. In January 2024, 32,000 veterans homeless in America. These are fellow veterans living in cars, in parks, in benches, and on the streets. Everyone who has raised the right hand, served in this country, deserves to live in dignity with a place to call home. Veteran homelessness has been cut in half since 2010, but our work is far from over. We must need efforts to solutions to address the root causes of the veteran homelessness. We will not stop until every veteran is housed. We urge Congress to provide homelessness veterans with more HUD-VASH vouchers, HUD-VASH services, and a crucial first step toward permanent housing and access to care. Also, to continue to fund the SSVF programs that provide wraparound services to homeless veterans. Our work is not done yet until everyone who is sworn on an oath to protect the country lives in a stable home of their own. We also want to see changes in the Transition Assistance Program. 200,000 veterans leaving military service each year. The current veteran unemployed rates are rising. People living in services cannot succeed without the right training and resources. The present TAP curriculum is insufficient. Services members are not attending the TAP as intended. The GAO found that recently 70% of service members did not start the TAP in the years before their separation. Veterans who cannot take the TAP classes are at the disadvantage for gainful employment. We should create a digital TAP product that includes resources, services, and information to get the transitioning services members up to speed. We urge lawmakers to authorize a digital TAP that veterans can use during their transition and civilian life. Service members, veterans, and families will use it to find information they may have missed prior to their separation. Some veterans have what they need to be successful. Other veterans are left to fend for themselves. Digital tap will level the playing field and give us a veteran-efficient transition. This modern solution to a problem that has been ongoing for decades. The Veterans Employment and Education Commission will address these major issues, continuing to promoting this economic well-being of all our veterans. We are committed to giving every generation of veterans the same or better benefits to the generations before them. Veterans have proven their commitment to this nation. It's time that we prove ours. Thank you for continuing support as we accomplish these goals together. Thank you.
There you go. Perfect. Jumping around a little bit because of schedules. You know how it goes. All right. Next, I would like to recognize the leader of the Sons of the American Legion, Bill Clancy. Bill was elected the National Commander of the Sons of the American Legion at the group's National Convention in Tampa, Florida in August 2025. Bill is a member of the Detachment of New York and is a seasoned business leader, community advocate, and lifelong member of the American Legion family. Commander Clancy draws inspiration from a legacy of military service and civic involvement spanning 3 generations of his family. As a businessman, Bill is the founder and principal operator of Urban Upkeep, a New York City-based property management firm. He has also served as a senior manager of business development at American Express, where he contributed to the strategic growth initiatives and partnership development. Commander Clancy has a long history of involvement with the American Legion. He is a graduate of Boys State and the Legion Auxiliary Freedoms Foundation program at Valley Forge, along with being a founding member of Sons of the American Legion Squadron 156, where he served in nearly every leadership role, including 4 terms as squadron commander. At the state level, he served as detachment commander for New York State, during which he led activities across all 62 counties. Outside of his professional and Legion commitments, Bill is an Eagle Scout recipient of the U.S. Congressional Silver Medal for Community Service and a former member of the advisory board at the Einstein Hospital in the Bronx. Commander Clancy resides in City Island with his wife, Kirstel, Sturgeon Clancy, and their 2 sons, Gear and Sten, who are both active in the American Legion. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the National Commander of the Sons of the American Legion, Bill Clancy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please be seated. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. American Legion family, my American Legion family, good afternoon. It's always an honor to be in front of you. The main event for this week is obviously all of us going up to the Hill and engaging our congresspeople. But the Sons of the American Legion had an event yesterday, I think you could call it the pregame event, where we went with a very large group, 4 buses full of Sons and a number of Legionnaires. We paid respect and honored veterans of the past by laying wreaths at the World War Monument, the Vietnam Monument, the Korean Monument, Arlington, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and the Iwo Jima Monument of the Marine Corps. At the Vietnam Memorial, I shared what was my first experience with moving legislation. And I was a very young boy when I joined my dad and so many other Legionnaires to come down to Washington, D.C. in the mid-70s to fight to make sure that all of the POWs were coming home from Vietnam. It was exciting. I would wake up with my dad at about 3 o'clock in the morning and have some egg sandwiches before going out to get on a bus. I'd like to bring that same excitement and energy to the Sons of the American Legion today as we go up on the Hill and stand at the back of the American Legion to make sure all of our legislators are doing what we need them to do. So Commander Wiley, as I promised you in Tampa, we always have your back. We have your 6. The 404,000 Sons of the American Legion have your back, have your six on the Hill and on the hill of every state house across the land. Thank you again for having me here. I look forward to joining you tomorrow up there and in all the endeavors of the American Legion legislative-wise. Thank you. Have a great day. God bless you all, and God bless those serving, particularly everybody on active duty in the Middle East. Keep them in your prayers. Thank you.
Our women legionnaires. USA 250 challenge, baby.
All right.
And third.
All right.
So today we're participating with our Women Legionnaires out of our Pacific Palisades Post 283 group. We decided to do the USA 250 challenge as a group, so that way we can incorporate some fun to the activities as well as continue to engage with the community as a whole.
We all decided to get together to do this through the Pacific Palisades Ronald Reagan Post 283. We started off with a women's forum where yours truly was the MC, and I got to, talk to other women, share our stories, and show, that we're not much dissimilar from each other. We have shared experiences, and I think that, having this committee, our Women Legionnaire Committee, is just, it binds us, it joins us at the hip, if you will, and we're constantly just reaching out for each other as support.
I said, let me look into it, let me study, see where I fit in, because sometimes my disability put a little stop for me, and then I said, no, I could fit in right here in community service, whatever my veterans. Yes, I got in, and I said, I got to do it. I promoted with the girls. I said, we have to do it for ourselves, because we have to build a blueprint for the future female veterans coming up, because we have more than 400,000 women up there serving.
So today we had a lot of fun. We've been doing some physical activity, and exercise doesn't have to be boring or hard. So we decided to do some frisbee, decided to make kind of a little target, make it a little challenging, have a little inside competition. We had one of our Women Legionnaires provide some sound bowl and yoga activities for us for our mental health and just reconnecting to the earth and just having a chance to unwind as a group. And then we're going to be heading out and doing some community service today as well.
The common bond that we share is our love of service, I would say, and the fact that we want to make a change for women with leaving service, so leaving active duty into our regular community, if you will. We want to bring them on board. We want to show them that they're heard, that they're cared for, and most importantly, to build a camaraderie that we have now.
So kindness, empathy, it's what connects us, and it's like, by myself I could do good, but with a lot more people and together we could do greater things. So.
The USA 250 Challenge is important. One, we want to connect with our community. That is the biggest way that we're going to reach our fellow service members, their families, to get them introduced to the American Legion. But doing it together is also very important for us as a post, just making sure that no one is doing anything alone, just knowing that they have somewhere to go and have somebody to hang out with and just have that. And then again, we're going to be able to bring that awareness to the community that we're out here as a whole, that American Legion goes out together and does things for the community.
I think it's a real honor for us to be where we are right now, 100 years of baseball with thousands and thousands of young men that have played this game. This is kind of like the culmination of the 2025 100th anniversary.
So we are getting the New York Yankees to acknowledge 100 years of American Legion baseball. One of the great children and youth programs that the American Legion has. We've got a special deal for our seats. We're getting a custom-made ball cap with the 100th anniversary logo on the side of the ball cap. And we're going to be doing a parade on the warning track after batting practice.
It's very exciting and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come on Yankee Stadium for American Legion, and we're truly grateful for it.
Ever since a little kid, growing up, watching them,
I've come to some games, but I've never gotten this close. So to be on the field next to my favorite players is awesome.
It's so much fun playing Legion baseball over the summer. Get to see your friends and just play a sport that we all love.
It's made me a lot better as a baseball player. Just getting to play this high-level talent, all these kids, it's really upped my confidence and my playing ability.
I really want to say thanks to the Yankees for being, generous enough to give us this time and a little bit of a recognition for everything that American Legion has done. And, in many ways, the Yankees have benefited from American Legion because they've gotten players in the past and they'll get players in the future that are American Legion players. And one day they'll wear pinstripes here, and we'll all be excited for that, for sure.
87 Hall of Famers got their start in American Legion baseball. American Legion baseball is the beginning of careers for pro ball players.
I think the most important part about this is it's a legacy that we all participate in. And every year when we add new players, we're adding to that legacy. They've done a fantastic job of representing American Legion values. And it's not just on the field, but it's off the field, and the players themselves are great representatives of American Legion as a whole.
It's an honor to come down here and represent Legion baseball. It's incredible.
Those are great videos, aren't they? It's awesome to come here and see those videos of all the amazing work that all of you are doing around the country. And as a Red Sox fan, I have a really hard time liking the Yankees. But this actually gave me a reason to say, okay, I can like the Yankees. So we've already had an action-packed day, and we have some important other updates. And at this time, I'd like to bring Lyndon Dixon, chairman of our VA&R Commission, for his report.
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Lyndon Dixon from the Department of Virginia, Chairman of the National Affairs and Rehabilitation Commission. As you prepare to meet with your members of Congress, I would like to discuss issues of particular interest to the VA&R Commission. We always appreciate everything you do and ask that you discuss these issues in hopes of generating solutions and making them a reality. I would like to highlight the suicide prevention and mental health efforts the American Legion is involved with, along with the Department of Veterans Affairs. America is still suffering from a veteran suicide crisis, and more urgent action needs to be taken to address veteran mental health issues. Last year, American Legion National moved the Be the One to the VA&R in recognition of the shared priority of evidence-based suicide prevention. The American Legion continues to expand outreach and engagement efforts related to our Be the One program, conducting almost 15,000 trainings and fielding nearly 500 calls to refer veterans in crisis to life-saving services. Further, in partnership with the VA, the Legion reached over 1.4 million veterans since the program launched. We look forward to continuing our partnership with the VA and putting an end to veteran suicide. Earlier today at the joint VA&R Commission and Be the One committee meeting, we heard meetings from Pam Ray, the American Legion Auxiliary National President, Bill Clancy III, Sons of the American Legion National Commander, and Dr. Keita Franklin, co-director of Columbia Lighthouse Project. Dr. Franklin discussed ways each of us can contribute to the fight against veteran suicides. After lunch, the commission then heard from VA leadership in a question and answer session with representatives from Veterans Health Administration, Veterans Benefits Administration, and Pension and Fiduciary Service. Finally, Samuel Brown, Undersecretary for Memorial Affairs, updated the commission on the important work honoring the fallen. Commander Wiley, thank you for allowing me to share some of the focal points of the Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation Commission. This concludes my comments. Thank you.
American Legion family members, you are the power behind our voice on Capitol Hill. I am so pleased that 8,740 of you responded to our call. Today, I'm going to Capitol Hill to deliver your signed petitions to pass the Major Richard Starr Act. Why is this important? Our injured service members should not lose their full retirement pay because of a disability they sustained while protecting our nation. Correcting that injustice is a priority for the American Legion, and Legionnaires from every state are making their voice heard. Dan G. in Montana, I'm bringing your message to Capitol Hill. Gary P. in Connecticut, I'm also delivering yours as well. And I was especially proud of the showing from my home state of Kansas. Mary B. from Topeka, thank you for writing in. Today, I'm going to visit my senator's office to thank them for co-sponsoring the Major Richard Starr Act. And I am also going to hand deliver 113 messages from Kansas like Mary B. expressing their support. Every congressional office hears from veterans back home. They count those calls, they read those emails, and they track how many people care. And when enough voices rise at once, Congress moves. So don't underestimate the power of your story. Tell them what this would mean for you or someone you love. Remind our representatives that retirement pay is earned. Disability compensation is earned. And no combat wounded veteran should lose one to receive the other. The Major Richard Starr Act isn't just policy, it's fairness, it's respect, it's our promise to the men and women who served. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have messages to deliver.
Next, I have the distinguished honor to introduce again our National Commander, Dan K. Wiley, for the purposes of a special introduction.
Legion family, it is my distinct honor this afternoon to introduce a dedicated advocate for our nation's veterans and a steadfast friend of the American Legion. Doug Collins was sworn in as the 12th Secretary of Veteran Affairs on February 5th, 2025, following his nomination by President Donald J. Trump. Born in Gainesville, Georgia, Secretary Collins has devoted his life to public service. He began his career as a pastor at Chicopee Baptist Church, serving from 1994 to 2005, and concurrently co-owned a small business with his wife, Lisa. In the late 1980s, he served 2 years as a Navy chaplain, and following the events of September 11th, joined the United States Air Force Reserve, where he continues to serve as a chaplain with the rank of colonel. Secretary Collins represented Georgia's 9th Congressional District in the United States House of Representatives from 2013 to 2021. And during his tenure, he was a member of the House Veteran Affairs Committee and served as vice chair of the House Republican Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to the Honorable Doug Collins, Secretary of Veteran Affairs.
Hey everybody, how we doing? Who are Marines? Oh, wait. I give it to you on a silver platter, Marines. Where are my Marines? There we go. Now I feel more like a year that I've been through. It has been a year since I've been here. It is good to be here. How many of you just happened to be here for the first time to do the legislative on the Hill and all that? See your hands? Well, thank y'all for being here. Let me give you a piece of advice. Go home. Don't stay. There is such a thing called Potomac fever. You don't want it. But no, your coming here means a lot. It means a lot to the veterans. It means a lot to the folks because you actually bring a lot of things that's no longer true on Capitol Hill. Where years past, there used to be a majority of our members of House and Senate used to actually have served, and that is no longer true. In fact, the vast majority of members of Congress do not serve or have not served in the military. So they want to be helpful. They want to be supportive of veterans, and which is really good for us. But sometimes when they start thinking about how that actually happens, there's a disconnect for those. It's like those of us in this room, can you imagine trying to explain the intricacies of boot camp to somebody who's never been through it? You can try, but it just doesn't have that same ring when you're getting yelled at. And after a year, I can assure you there have had moments of my boot camp experience where I, in the past year, have understood what it was like to get yelled at. If you don't believe me, just read my social media. For those of you here today, though, I stood here over a year ago, and I promised you something that I promised President Trump, and that was when I asked him what did he want me to do as VA Secretary, he said, I want you to take care of my veterans. When I stood here over a year ago, I said that was the call and that was the promise that I made to him, but it's also a promise that I took very seriously as someone who is within about 2 months of actually retiring from the United States Air Force after almost 25 years and 2 years in. Understanding what you go through, understanding deployments, understanding separation on the weekends, understanding separations during time, is that we're going to change things up. And so when I got here last year, I sort of told you a little bit about what we were going to do, but the one thing I promised you was it was not going to be the same. And the first thing that I did on February 5th last year after I was sworn in, I said and made a statement that I said from here on out, there will be one thing true at the VA and that has not been true before. And that at the VA, the veteran will be first. The veteran will be first. Now, what does that mean? That means that in an agency that for years was risk-averse, bureaucratic in nature, and one that only moved basically at the pace of what it wanted to move, it said that whatever we do, whatever we attempt will always be viewed with the veteran in mind who walks through our front door, comes through our clinics, asks for their disability that they have earned, or they come to one of our cemeteries to be laid to rest. We will always view it through that. And you'll be amazed. I've been asked by reporters, what has been the biggest change that you've seen in the VA in the last year? I said, well, I can go through and I'm going to rattle them off here in just a few minutes because too many times people don't tell our good stories, they tell our bad stories. But one of the things I told them, I said, we would not have what we have today had it not been the change to put the veteran first at the VA. So now my doctors, my nurses, my cemetery workers, my disability workers all know one thing. Their job is not protect theirs, their job is to protect you. I also said, and I'm going to state this early on in this discussion, I also promised you a new listening and a new commitment to react when need be. I also told you that if we did something at the VA that was wrong, we would fix it. I told you last year, standing from this stage, I said that so many times that there is the atmosphere of just complacency and letting things go on. Well, I'm going to hit one real quickly and we're going to move forward from it. A few weeks ago, there was a IFR that was put out that was to form a court case. It came through the process in a very laborious fashion, came to me without full information. We signed it. It caused a lot of stir. Immediately, I said, this isn't right. We immediately stopped implementation, which none had already happened. And within 3 days, we pulled it back down. Now, I don't tell you that to say anything except that's not what you would have ever, I don't think, seen from the VA in the past. Because here's something that I also may have said to you last year, either here or in Tampa. I said, if it's a mist in the pulpit, it's a fog in the congregation. And no matter what we said, because I actually started seeing things that really bother me, because I don't care what you say about me personally or what we do. And all I will say is this: do not ever say I do not care about veterans or the VA is not caring about veterans, because I do my life's work now to make sure veterans are taken care of. And when I saw stuff being put out there, that made the disinformation factor greatly, like what somebody who actually wrote and a senator actually sent to me that said that they were worried about their disabled wife who was already currently receiving benefits, not needing to take their medication because they were afraid of losing benefits. That was not true. It was a lie, and I did not want anybody to even think that was a possibility. That was not what was in this. It was about a future state. But guess what? Y'all listening right here? It's over. It's done. We put it to bed. Because I don't want it to ever be in a situation in which we have a discern, because so many of you who actually use the VA or you've used the VA or you have experience with the VA, too many times what we hear, and I want you to take it from the perspective of not as you, but as those who've never used the VA. If all we do is find fault, and which is easy. We're a 450,000 person organization, 170 plus hospitals, 1,200 clinics. We have 70 regional offices. We got a lot of stuff that can go wrong on any given day. But 60% of those veterans who take their own life, death by suicide, have never had any contact with the VA. So I take it very seriously about perception of the VA. And so you have a new day dawning here. I promised it last year. I can't think of as much as I would not have liked to have told you that story, I'm glad I did. Because you wouldn't have believed me if I just kept saying, you have different leadership. I actually have been able to show you, unfortunately, through an error that came out. Now, was anybody hurt? No, we're moving forward. But also, I have something for everybody here. As we move forward, I want you to think about the people not in this room. I want you to think about the folks that are wanting to be a part of the VA or maybe need just help. We've got to put forth an agenda for them that says your service is valued. And as was just said just on the video a few minutes ago, I'll say it again, I said it loud, I said it last summer, I'm going to say it again. There is time for the press and anybody else live streaming this or anywhere else you want to watch from Congress or anywhere else. There is not a veteran in this country that gets anything. You have earned everything that you have got. But also there's a little bit of an interesting thing going on. And one, I may screw up the mic system here, but I really don't care. I want to get out here with you. That's where I'm best. There is developed, unfortunately, over the number of years, it's sort of a pattern. It's sort of an industry pattern. And here's what it is, that they're indicated that they're invested in a broken system. This was the most amazing thing that I found out last year when I came into this job. If you would have told me a year later what would be something that you learned, this was it. That I had a lot of people who would tell this organization right here, here's what we need to do. I'm supporting the veterans, I'm doing this, and then turn right around and not do a damn thing. From secretaries to members of Congress to the press. They're good at pointing out ideas, they're good at pointing out problems, but they don't want to fix it. I'm here to tell you today that starting last year, I said, no way, we're done good, right, wrong, or indifferent. We're going to start changing things at the VA, and we started last year, and we ain't finished yet. So what does that mean? We've opened over 30 clinics, new clinics. We've expanded BMI, which is the best medical interest for your patients so that they can get direct care and they can get community care. We took the doctor and the patient and their caregiver and said, what is best for the veteran? You know, that had been talked about on the Hill forever. You go to your hearing on Wednesday, you go to the rooms, oh, well, we believe in this. Well, do something about it. I said, we're going to do something about it. We found issues when it was coming to our credentialing and how we moved doctors. Did you know the VA was so bureaucratic that I couldn't move a doctor 10 miles up the road without it taking 72 hours to almost a week to get them moved? How many think that's dumb? Guess what now? I can have them move from Washington, D.C. to Seattle, and by the time they hit the seat in Washington, D.C., I'll already have their credentialing and privileges done in Washington State. They said, oh, the medical health records, oh my God, you'll never be able to fix that. Well, you're right. Because a number of years ago, we screwed it up. We decided to let 6 hospitals out in Washington State do it on their own. Here's the way we did it. You get a system, you get a system, you get a system, you get a system, you get a, and you get, all pro turn backwards. Except we let you pick what you wanted, you pick what you wanted, you pick what you wanted. No standardization, nothing. And we wasted billions of dollars. When I got here, the previous secretary had gotten so fed up with it, he just quit. I said, that's dumb. We spent billions of dollars and we're just going to quit? I'm here to tell you April 11th, we got 4 sites in Michigan going on with a new system from Oracle that has been worked and standardized, new leadership, new promotion. We're standardizing, everybody's on board, and we're making sure that everybody is trained and everybody is working. 4 plus 9 more for 13 this year with plans for a lot more next year. We're not simply stopping because it gets too hard. If it's too hard at the VA, then we need to work harder because if the only people that matter is the veterans, and we've got to get into the 21st century. So when you think about it, there is a new day. When you look at it, I go up, one of my best questions that I ask our hospitals these days, I ask them this, and I'll ask, going along, I'll come up to them in the hospital and I'll say, I have a question for you. And they say, what are you doing that's stupid? You'll be shocked. They actually, after they realized I was serious, they began to talk to me. And they says, why do we have all these things coming up on our computer all the time? I want to work with patients. I don't want to have to keep doing that. I said, that's right. Let's start looking at your taskers. Let's make sure we get those right. We had issues of how can we do scheduling and how do we do this. By the way, for scheduling in here, for all those who've had to call and get your scheduling, we just launched a pilot program in one of our biggest VA systems that hopefully will turn out within the next year or so to be allowed every one of you in here to schedule your own stuff on your phone so you don't have to call anybody. One of the stupid things I heard actually was not a VA employee. It was from a young lady out in California. I'm sitting there talking to her one day, and the women in our VA system are one of our fastest growing populations. And this young lady explained the problem that she had because she had to go to her PAC doctor to get to her gynecologist and OB/GYN. She was having to go these circles and she needed to talk to him, went to her PAC doctor. It took like a day or 2 to get a return call, and then they sent her to scheduling, and it took 2 weeks. I said, that's stupid. Within 6 weeks of that conversation, we changed the policy, and right now every female veteran does not have to go to their PAC doctor. They can go directly to their OB/GYN because women's health matters to us, and we're going to make sure it's easier for our female veterans to get the help they deserve. We housed over 50,000 homeless, and in suicide prevention, Be the One campaign, which you're already doing, I took this basically the whole top level of our suicide prevention program, over $500 million, which I told you about last year, and we took everybody basically was in there and we replaced them. And we said, do it right. Because if 60% of the veterans are not getting the VA and you're only making videos that look like they're going to veterans who are already here, then we're in the wrong boat. It's time for us to understand that the VA is not about ourselves. It's about the veteran. Some of you have heard things over the past year that we've changed and we're slimmed down. Yes, we had 30,000 folks who took early retirement, voluntary early retirement. Did you realize how many business people we have in here? A lot of business folks? Some of you not. How many actually ever work for a business? I'm slow, but I get there. Well, did you know that last year when I walked in and I spoke to you that I did not have a Manning document? Anybody been in the military, you know what a Manning document is. You know who you got, where they're at, and where they're supposed to be. I had 450,000 people, and I couldn't tell you where they were. This is not a joke. Did you know that we were not reconciling our accounting every month? How many VA secretaries have you had up here who basically just took the coat off and showed you the dirty laundry? But you know what? You deserve better. And as long as I'm in this seat, I'm going to tell you what the problem is, and we're going to fix it. We now have a manning document. We did take people off. We did talk to each of our visiting directors and our hospital directors. I said, who do you have on your list that we don't need or hasn't been filled in a long time? That's where you got this crazy story from the Washington Post about we took 30,000 people. You know, we didn't fire anybody. These people were not there, and the hospital said they didn't need them because we're already moving more. We've moved 8 million, almost 9 million appointments this year more in the size of people that we're seeing. I have opened up over 2.2 million extra appointments just this past year that were not even available when I spoke to you last February. 2.2 million after hours and on weekends. Why? Because the folks in this room may not need it on weekends, but you know what? Our younger veterans and our female veterans and those who work a job need those times of appointments. We're making everything we can to make it right for a veteran. So I'm going to tell you this. You're in a town that doesn't move very quickly. I saw it in Congress. I see it in this job. And I'm also going to tell you very clearly, there's a lot of good. You got a good story to go tell on the Hill this week. But I got some help for you. For all those members of Congress who say they want to help us, and how many times you say that? I go up to the Hill, and after we get into our little bit of scrap back and forth, it's fine. I'm used to that. They say, we're here to help you, Secretary, be successful. I have asked for 1 year for a bill to be introduced that raises the pay cap for my doctors so that I can be on a competitive basis with every private and public hospital in this country. And guess what? I'll believe you, but nobody's put forward that bill. There's you something to ask for when you go to the Hill this week. I have to compete with Mayo, with Cleveland Clinic. I have to compete with every hospital locally in your area. And you know what? Sometimes I have to offer almost $300,000 to $400,000 less than they can walk across the street. Now, everybody wants to be patriotic and help veterans, but they also got to feed their family. You want to do something that helps? That's what we need to do. Disability claims. I stood on this stage last year, 260,000 in backlog. I'm here to tell you again, we announced this just last week, we're now permanently under 100,000. But I got a better one for you. I'm going to get with Pete at Department of War. He's a little busy right now. And by the way, God bless those that are serving right this minute. And those that have already lost and are just finding out. I've already directed the VA staff that they will be at the moment's notice to go to those families and do everything possible we can to help them during this time. But when I get with Pete, and I saw him a little bit ago, if I get the records from DOW, to me, you're literally looking, my folks have told me that by the end of this year, we get this done, you could be looking at disability claims be finished, complete and finished in 30 to 40 days. That's a good news story to tell. That's something to tell people. You know why now? It was 132 days to complete. When I got here, it's almost 77 today. People are getting their answers quicker, and they're getting better answers, and the quality is going up every day. And here I have something for you because I love my American Legion as a member of Post 7 Gainesville. You help veterans for free get what they've already earned. I'm putting everybody on notice out there. I am sick and tired, being from Georgia, of the people out there that want to take my veterans hostage and say, you can't get all that you've earned and all that you deserve unless you come pay me for it. I'm sorry, that ends now. There's plenty of free activity. The American Legion does it, VFW does it, everybody else does it. It's time we stood up for our veterans, and those who want to prey on my veterans, they're going to answer to me. Don't be playing with the system. Because here's the thing. Since you're here in D.C., there are people, okay, I'm going to get you, I got all friends here and some of you watching the screen, just lean in real close. There are people who don't like me. A year ago, I had full brown hair. I had a rear end. But I'm still doing good. Because, you know, there are those who are invested in a broke system because they know how to manipulate a broke system. Members of Congress do. People in the community do. Lawyers do. I've made something different when I came here last year and promised you this one thing. The VA was going to be different. We put together a list of accomplishments in a year that have never been touched in previous years. We've made it easier for veterans to get help. We've speeded up access. We've cut disability claims times. We've made it better for all. We took our folks who were our white glove treatment for our widows and survivors. We took it out of an office it shouldn't have been in and put it back under the Secretary's office so we can give white glove treatment to those members and those families who shouldn't have to suffer through the bureaucratic crap of anything to get what they've already earned when their spouse or loved one lost. But I'm here to tell you, as big as we are, we're going to make mistakes. Sometimes, somebody's not going to get a phone call returned. Somebody's going to get an appointment delayed. Somebody's doctor is going to take vacation instead of show up for their appointment. Sometimes we're going to put out stuff that's misunderstood. But I'm telling you right now, I'm tired of the naysayers. I promised you last year, nobody's going to scare my veterans. Nobody's going to scare my employees. And nobody's going to get in front of me taking what I believe is a fight to change the VA. Those who want to get on board, it's time to get on board. Because we're the biggest, baddest healthcare agency in the country, and we've acted like the 2-pound weakling in the corner. Guess what? No more. In fact, in a few years, with our new health records management system, with our new processes we're putting in, we're going to have people wanting to come to us because we're putting out this to the community. We're doing it better than anybody else, and we only have to take care of veterans because that's our given talent. But you know something else? Wait times that we get judged on, valid. I told a group this morning, wait times is not a way that any other hospital system in the country measures success. We're the only ones. You know why? Because about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, we had a scandal where people couldn't get their appointments and they died waiting on colonoscopies and other stuff. As a former member of Congress, I can talk as a former member of Congress. The only things we sometimes truly understand, and okay, Marines, I'm giving you another chance here. Marines, the only thing in Congress we understand is big size crayons and blank paper. And the only way we fixed that was we said, if you don't get an appointment time in a certain amount of days, then we're going to send you to the community. That's the only reason we have wait times, folks. It has nothing to do with quality. I'm switching the metric. We're going to stick to every wait time, but also going to now hold the community responsible, because if you go out to the community, some of their wait times are double what we have, and guess what? We're going to start holding the same mirror to them that they hold to us. It's time we put veterans first. So as we go from this place and you get ready to go to the Hill, I stand here resolved as I did last year when I talked to you. Be the one in Tampa. Be the one when I was talking here. Means that you have to be the one. Not somebody else. You don't pray for somebody else to get sent to the mission field. You go yourself. You call that buddy. You call that friend. You tell them what you need. And you go out from a cup of coffee as we go forward. You offer them a hope as they come forward. I will commit to you this. Through hell or high water, I will fight for the veteran. I will make sure that the VA is focused only on how the veteran sees it and how we do it. When we get it wrong, we'll fix it. When we get it right, I ask for your help. Don't ever not hold us accountable. I'm fully aware of that. But when we get it right, which we've done a lot right over the last year, then go out and tell other veterans, because it's not the ones that are using it that are sometimes our most fragile. It is those that hear the bad and never choose to use it. And we lose them. And I never want to see that happen. I stand before you here a proud secretary of the VA, one who is committed to working every day to make life better for veterans. I promised results. We've delivered results. But we're just getting started. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. All right. Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much.
Got time for a couple of questions before we do a quick thing. Couple of quick questions.
All right, if you'll please stand and come forward. We have a question over here.
Okay, you'll start here, start there. Where are you?
Let's start here on the right.
Commander, you tell me. I'm ready to go. Right here.
Mr. Secretary, Angela Evans from the Department of Kansas. Sir, you spoke a little bit about this, about some of the veterans that are not using the VA programs. What other outreach programs does the VA have in place to help us to reach those veterans so they will get the message across that the VA is the place to go?
That is a great question. One of the first questions I ask is, why do we have such a limited way? We have a thing that's called VACOM, right, Kurt? We didn't realize that we had, we realized but we wasn't using it. This goes to show you how bureaucratic and unorganized the VA has been. But we had email addresses and a lot of times phone numbers for every veteran in the country. And we never used it. Well, starting in December, we started sending out text messages and emails to everyone. And I think at last count, we've registered 30,000 new veterans just in the last 2 months. Those are the kind of things that we're going to continue to use as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Janet Lorenzo, Department of Minnesota. I just want to say thank you for being here today, and thank you for being part of the Department of Navy. What changes,
I went from dark blue to light blue. Give me a break. You know.
What changes will the individual veterans see in access and care as VHA transitions from VISN to health service areas?
Oh, I think that is a great question. Reorg, and we could spend a lot of time on reorg. I can't explain this enough. The VA was acting as if it was how many of you remember the Prince song, 1999? Okay, we were acting more like, let's party like it's 1989. Our structure was completely broken. In fact, what we had happen was that our leadership at the hospital level was not able to make decisions because everybody had a piece of it in policy at VACO and VISNs, and so they would send stuff up. One of the first things I heard from directors is we can't get an answer. I said, well, where did you send it? They said, well, we sent it to the VISN, we sent it to VACO. I said, well, did you ever hear back? No. And what I found out is they would send ideas up, and then 6 or 8 committees would take a piece of it, of which, by the way, nobody to talk to each other. And so this is what I call a camel committee. They sent it up to be a thoroughbred and it came out a camel. It never worked. So what we have done, here's reorganization from your level at the base level. Your hospitals will be nothing more but more efficient and faster service. Because the HSAs are now going to be focused on a specific number of hospitals, not an entire region. The VISN levels will be able to handle policy and political aspects of things that they need to in the 5 new regions. The HSAs will be much more in contact. They don't have to deal with all the administrative stuff. They just have to deal with the executive directors and chiefs of staff to see what they actually need because each hospital has some uniqueness. But I'm also going to tell you one thing. This is going to give us something that some of you have never experienced. Have you ever heard that expression, if you've been to one VA, you've been to them all? What a load of crap. But guess what? Within a couple of years, it's going to be true. Because we're now going to standardize policy. Standards matter, and at the VA, this new structure allows us to put policy, business line, and medical center operations in line so that when policy comes out, everybody institutes it. So if you're in Salt Lake, you're going to get the same treatment in Salt Lake that you're going to get in Orlando. If you get Orlando treatment, you're going to get the same great treatment in Indiana. Those are the kind of things that we're working out. This is going to be nothing but good for the veteran at the end of the day because it's going to streamline what we do, and basically it puts us also in the position to be a 21st century healthcare system that's going to kick rear end in everything we do. And combined with a new community care contract, get ready.
Mr. Secretary.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. We got some awards to present. We have some awards to present, but before I get to those awards, Mr. Secretary, I sincerely appreciate you being here with us today. I appreciate you listening to veterans and rescinding the IFR. I think that showed that you do listen to veterans. And I will tell you this, as I've sat in the Secretary's office, he is certainly willing to listen to veterans, and he listens to the American Legion, and we appreciate that. In fact, right before I came out here, as I was talking to him, he invited me to breakfast. And for those of you that know, I haven't had a meal all year, right? Yeah. So now I want to welcome our VA&R Commission Chairman Lyndon Dixon to the stage to join the Secretary and me in presenting the VA Physician and Healthcare Provider of the Year Awards. Mr. Secretary, if you come over here.
Good afternoon, Commander Wiley, the American Legion family, and guests. In 2017, at the Washington Legislative Conference, Dr. Tina Shaw, a White House fellow, spoke to our VA&R Commission and complimented our System Worth Saving program. She challenged the VA&R Commission to establish an annual VA Physician of the Year award. Not only have we met that challenge, but we have also established the VA Healthcare Provider of the Year award. This afternoon, we will present both awards, and I'm honored that the VA Secretary Collins will be presenting them with me. The American Legion Physician of the Year award is presented to Dr. Karen Armburst from the Minneapolis VA Healthcare System.
In recognition of your distinguished public service and commitment to the care of America's veterans. Your dedication to caring for our nation's veterans demonstrates your high degree of professionalism and countless hours dedicated to ensuring veterans are treated with respect while receiving exceptional health care.
Additionally, the American Legion VA Healthcare Provider of the Year award is presented to Amy Stanwood from the Minneapolis VA Healthcare System.
In recognition of your distinguished public service and commitment to the care of America's veterans. Your dedication to caring for our nation's veterans demonstrates your high degree of professionalism and countless hours dedicated to ensuring veterans are treated with respect while receiving exceptional health care.
The American Legion is proud to continue to work with the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Veterans Health Administration to present these awards. I congratulate the recipients and thank you, Secretary Collins, for being here with us.
If you walk by here on any given day, there's something happening.
Legion Riders, the Harley-Davidson Let's Ride Challenge registration opens February 27th, and I'm calling on every one of us to sign up. This is how we ride with purpose and prove once again what the American Legion Riders can do when we move as one. Here's what I love about this challenge. You can register from anywhere. No matter where you live, no matter what road you ride, you can be part of it. And this year, it's even bigger. Any motorcycle manufacturer can join. If you ride, you belong. So on February 27th, sign up from anywhere. Register at a participating Harley-Davidson dealership or through the Let's Ride Challenge online. And if you use the HD app, you can log your miles there. Why this matters? Because last year the challenge generated over $1 million for American heroes. And the American Legion Riders received $100,000 from last year's challenge. That support strengthens what we do for our military, our veterans, their families, and the communities we live in. Now it's year 2, and I'm asking you, the American Legion Riders, to lead the way again. Register, ride, log your miles, because when we roll together, we don't just ride, we forge a legacy. We are better together, and because of that, we are the champions of hope, building the Legion family for the future, one member at a time. I'm David Heredia Jr., National Chairman, American Legion Riders Advisory Committee. And I'll see you out there for God and country. Now let's ride.
All right, my pleasure again to introduce a proud Air Force veteran, our National Commander, Dan K. Wiley.
Our next guest doesn't like to be defined as a quote D or a quote R, but represents his state as an independent. In fact, he has said, quote, neither a Democrat or a Republican, but I'm an American, unquote. A graduate of Virginia Boys State, he remains a staunch supporter of Boys Nation. He served as the 72nd governor of Maine from 1995 to 2003 and has represented the Pine Tree State as a United States Senator since 2013. As a respected member of the Senate Veteran Affairs Committee, he has championed such issues as the PACT Act and the Elizabeth Dole Act. He has fought to ensure the reinstatement of GI benefits for veterans who received less than honorable discharges due to experiencing sexual assault or domestic violence. He has co-sponsored numerous bipartisan bills to benefit those who served, including the provision of adaptive sports prosthesis for eligible veterans. In short, he has been there for the American Legion and our nation veterans. And I will just tell you, our next guest, as an aside, I had an opportunity to sit in his office approximately a month ago. He was very gracious with his time. In fact, he gave me a tour of the Capitol. But while we had a very productive conversation, I sat in his office and I said, congratulations, by the way, on your Legislator of the Year award. And staff leaned over and said, Commander, he didn't know that. And I said, he does now. And then I promptly invited him to be here this afternoon, and he graciously agreed. So it is my distinct honor to present the Distinguished Public Service Award to the Honorable Senator Angus King.
Thank you, my friend.
We're going to take a photo,
Sure.
and then you'll have time to give your remarks.
Okay. Thank you. Talk among yourselves while we do this. All set?
Congratulations, Senator.
Thank you
so very much.
Appreciate it. I like the tape about the ride. I used to ride all the time when I was governor on a Harley. Yes, it was a Harley. And once I pulled into a parking lot of a motel up in far eastern Maine, and there was a car there with license plates from Maryland. And I did what I always did as governor. I went over and said, welcome to Maine, I'm the governor. And I had on my black leathers and my helmet under my arm. And the lady took one step back and said, yes, and I'm Queen Elizabeth. That's an absolutely true story. So, yeah, that happened more than once, believe me. Listen, I'm not going to take much time. I caught the last 40 minutes of the commissioner's speech. But here's what I want to say about the secretary. He's dedicated to veterans. He's dedicated to doing the right thing for veterans, and he has made some really significant changes, and I love the fact that the wait times are going down. And his job is to manage as best he can. My job is to be a pain in the ass to him. And that's what I intend to do. That's the job of oversight and to be on the Veterans Affairs Committee, to just be sure that all the work that needs to be done is being done for you. I should have mentioned at the beginning. Thank you. I should have mentioned at the beginning, of course, we're all thinking about those who are in harm's way right now. And we love them, we honor them, we respect them, and we just want to bring them home safe. And I appreciate what you do for all of those who serve now and who have served. I'll tell you one of the things that I've spent probably more time than anything else. In fact, I'll go back to the very first year I was in the Senate. I was in a meeting of the Senate Armed Services Committee and focused on the issue of transition. And I said something, this was 12 years ago, I said, I think the Department of Defense should spend as much money on transition out as they do on recruiting in. And that's something that I've been working on ever since. We've just gotten a rule change through so that when someone's exiting active duty, their contact information will automatically go to the Veterans Office in their state unless they say they don't want it. My vision is when someone leaves active duty, they're met at the airport for somebody from the state, from the VFW, from the Legion, from DAV, and they have a buddy. They have someone to help them in that transition. They have someone to tell them what all the benefits and the options are that they have. Because as you know, the first couple of years after leaving active duty are the years of maximum danger, of suicide, of self-harm, and of falling out of the society. So the transition is something that I'm going to continue to work on, and I want your help on that. And you have been extremely helpful on these issues as we've gone forward. So for a senator, you just saw a world record short speech. The final thing I'll say, and my wife says I say finally too much, it gets people's hopes up. But the final thing I want to say is what an honor this is. I'm not kidding. This is one of the honors of my lifetime. I never expected it. I wasn't angling for it. When the commander told me that the other day that I'd gotten it, I said, "You're kidding." But I just want to tell you what an honor this is. It's something that I'm going to carry with me, and it just means so much because you mean so much to this country. We don't often think about it, but when you signed those papers, you were putting your life on the line. You may not have been put in that position, but you were willing to do so. And that's something that creates an enormous debt from this country to you and your brothers and sisters. So it's an honor for me to be recognized, but it's an even greater honor for me to be able to work for you and to try to keep on the front of the mind of the American people what we owe to our veterans. Thank you so much. It's great to be with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I'm excited to welcome Americanism Commission Chair Mark Avis to present the information on our Samsung Scholars.
Thank you, Chairman Jabot. Worldwide electronics leader Samsung endowed a scholarship fund of $5 million to be administered by the American Legion in 1996. Meant to show appreciation for the U.S. veterans who came to Korea's aid during a struggle against the communist forces in the Korean War. The Samsung American Legion Scholarship Program established a series of scholarships derived from the interest and other incomes from the principal amount. As of 2023, the Samsung American Legion Scholarship has awarded more than $7.2 million in college scholarships to 2,422 recipients since its inception in 1996. The top 10 national scholars received $10,000 each, 2 from each region, We are happy to have 9 of these great young Americans with us today. From the Midwest region, Lillian Frideris. From Nevada, Idaho. Also, from the Midwest, Cy Griffith, hailing from Springfield, Missouri. From the Central region, Colby Nixon of Lake Zurich, Illinois. Representing the Southwest region is Micaiah Wagusapek from Grissom, Louisiana. Also from the Southwest region, Luke David from Allen, Texas. From the Northeast region, Lauren Tree of Lincoln University, Pennsylvania. Also from the Northeast region is McKinley Kiefaber from Binghamton, Vermont. Finally, from the Western region, we have Elena Roundy of Cedar City, Utah, and Audrey Moore from Renton, Pennsylvania. Please help me welcome and congratulate our Samsung American Legion scholars.
Let's give him another hand. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, this July 4th we will be celebrating an important anniversary, the 250th anniversary of this great country. Actually, the celebration has already been underway, and for very good reason. Educating future generations about our nation's history is the most tangible method to keep the sacrifices and legacy of veterans alive. You simply cannot celebrate a great nation without celebrating its greatest heroes. The American Legion has its own USA 250 challenge. If you haven't already signed up for it, I urge you to visit legion.org and see how you can participate while supporting a great cause. This is something you can do in your own home, on your own time, and in your own community. On a national level, the American Legion is proud to partner with the America 250 Commission to celebrate our nation's semi-quincentennial. Our next guest is the Executive Vice President of America 250. She was previously Vice President of Outreach and Engagement and Chief of Staff for this important bipartisan commission. She is a certified project management professional and holds an MBA from Eastern University and a bachelor's in international relations and religion from Bucknell University. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Jennifer Condon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me begin by thanking Commander Wiley and James Baca for the kind invitation to join you today. I also want to sincerely thank all of the Legionnaires in the audience who have defended our country abroad and for all you're doing to strengthen our country here at home. It's such an honor and a privilege to be with you today. And America 250 is so pleased to have the American Legion as our newest national resource partner. We're only 4 short months away from America's semi-quincentennial on July 4th. And America 250 is hard at work preparing a celebration worthy of that milestone. We want this to be the largest and most inspiring celebration and commemoration in our nation's history. But let me emphasize, this is not just about a big fireworks show on July 4th, 2026. This milestone gives us an opportunity to reflect on our past and what we want to be 250 years from now. It's a chance for all of us to ask, what is the spirit of America? And to me, few ideas capture the essence of the American spirit better than service. Public service is part of the fabric of our nation, and few understand this better than the patriots in this room. That's what all of you do at the American Legion. By a quick show of hands, how many of you continue to serve today? That's most of the hands in this room. And maybe it's through your Legion post or by helping fellow veterans. Look around. I mean, that is just the spirit of service that I'm talking about. That's what this country is all about. Now, as we approach our nation's 250th anniversary, we have a unique opportunity to inspire that same spirit of service from sea to shining sea. Part of that will be through big, inspirational moments, and I hope all of you saw us at the Super Bowl or in Times Square for the ball drop on New Year's Eve. But in addition to these big moments, we're building a movement of national values-based programming that will last long after the fireworks. And today, I'd like to highlight 2 programs that are especially relevant to the American Legion. The first is our national service initiative called America Gives. America Gives challenges individuals and organizations of all kinds to help make 2026 a record-setting year for volunteer service. Whether it's mentoring a student, volunteering through your local Legion post, or supporting a cause that matters to you, every hour makes a difference. It doesn't matter how big or small the act. What matters is participation. Americans can take the Year of Service pledge and log their hours at america250.org/AmericaGives. The site features a live national counter that tracks service hours across all 50 states, the 5 territories, and Washington, D.C. I think as of this morning, we're almost at 1.7 million hours since New Year's Day. And people who enter the hours can be entered for the chance to help give away $1 million to charities of their choice. We launched America Gives on January 1st, and as I shared, we've logged close to 1.7 million hours of service nationwide. And I should note that the service completed as a part of the American Legion's USA 250 Challenge can be logged and counted towards that national total. Ultimately, we want America Gives to spark a renewed culture of service that lasts long after 2026. And the American Legion will be a key partner in helping us realize that goal. The next and second program I'd like to mention today is called America Waves. America Waves is a tribute to our country's most enduring and unifying symbol, the American flag. No organization has done more to honor and promote respect for the flag than the American Legion. And you will play a big part in America Waves through our initiative called Flag Sojourn 250. As you may know, this special American flag has been traveling a national journey. It is flown at every U.S. cemetery overseas. It is making its way to all U.S. states and territories. And for those of you who watched the Super Bowl, it was carried in a military jet in the flyover that happened while the national anthem was sung by Charlie Puth. Then, on July 4th, 250 American Legion riders will escort the flag on its return to Washington, D.C., the end of an epic journey around our great country. Thank you. America Waves is distributing special commemorative handheld flags at major events and partner activations across the country. We want to create a sea of red, white, and blue from town squares to stadiums to the National Mall. Imagine millions of Americans across generations lifting the same symbol at the same moment. That's what America Waves is all about. These two programs I've shared are just the beginning, and you can learn more about what we have planned by visiting our website at america250.org. I hope all of you will find ways to engage with us in the months and the years ahead. We need your help to activate service efforts in your communities, and we need your help to better tell the stories of military and veteran service that are so essential to America's story. If America's 250th is going to mean something, it needs to honor those who have worn the uniform. It needs to honor the service that generations of veterans have given to this great country. And if we do this right, not only will our semi-quincentennial commemorate 250 years of history, it will inspire the next 250 years of service. And that would be something worth celebrating. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. And as authorized by Resolution Number 5, celebration of the 250th anniversary of the United States, Jennifer and I will make this partnership official and sign our partnership agreement. Jennifer, will you please join me at the magically appearing table? We'll sit behind and then we'll sign. You bet. He'll bring out a couple of chairs for us. Thank you, Commander. You bet. Thank you. And if you'll just, when they're seated and when they get the chairs there, have a seat on the left. And I think it's going to be, I guess. All right. All right. Let's hold them up. There. And thank you for this partnership.
This year we have a golden opportunity. No, make that a red, white, and blue opportunity to do something truly special.
That's right, Commander. This year America is celebrating its 250th birthday.
And the American Legion family will be leading the nationwide celebrations.
The American Legion Family USA 250 Challenge is a year-long celebration honoring our nation. You can participate in the challenge by choosing one or more of the 3 categories.
The 3 categories are community service, mental wellness, and physical activity.
Whether you are doing 1, 2, or all 3 categories, you are making a difference in the lives of veterans and their families.
Visit legion.org/USA250 to learn more and register for $30. For your registration fee, you will get to choose a commemorative tech shirt, and your donations support the American Legion Veterans and Children Foundation.
Be a part of what makes our nation great.
Help us celebrate America.
Join us in the USA 250 Challenge.
Wow, great moment in history, right? Awesome to experience and be here, right? I'd now like to call upon our National Security Chairman, Jim Grenier, for the Department of Virginia for the purpose of a report.
Commander, past national commander, Legion family, fellow Legionnaires, it is a distinct honor to stand before you today and present a brief report on the key activities and accomplishments of the National Security Commission. Over the past several months, we worked diligently to uphold the principles of national defense and strategic policy engagement that define the American Legion mission. Our efforts have spanned policy, programs, and partnerships, each playing a vital role in strengthening national security while supporting our service members. The National Security Division has actively engaged policymakers, military leaders, and diplomatic partners to ensure the national defense and security priorities remain the forefront of our collective efforts. Our 2026 legislative priorities focus on advancing military quality of life, reinforcing diplomacy as a first line of defense, strengthening the lethality and readiness of the U.S. Armed Forces, and revitalizing defense industrial base. In December, we submitted a statement for the record to the House Homeland Security Committee for its hearing on worldwide threats to the homeland, reinforcing the American Legion's commitment to informed policy advocacy. Our work has included attending multiple hearings focused on military quality of life and the lethality of our armed forces, ensuring that the voices of service members and their families are heard on national dialogue. Passing the Major Richard Starr Act is priority for our American Legion, as it prevents medically retired combat-injured veterans from being financially penalized for shortened careers. We engaged in discussions on the Indo-Pacific security environment, China's expanding global influence, and the challenges of our great power competition with Russia. These efforts highlight our commitment to strong national defense and strategic international partnerships. Additionally, we sponsored a critical minerals and security summit on Capitol Hill, which focused on practical solutions to strengthen U.S. competitiveness and resilience by expanding access to critical minerals and revitalize domestic capabilities in extraction, processing, and manufacturing. Today, we held a critical minerals panel with subject matter experts during our Washington conference and our commission meeting to further discuss the vitality of critical minerals to the defense industrial base and strengthen the lethality of our armed forces. The American Legion's National Security Division also addressed combating illegal Bluetooth vape products that pose risk to national security via data breaches and comprehensive update on recent changes related to TRICARE benefits, all in the context of maintaining quality of life for our service members. We continue to urge Congress to pass a DHS funding bill to ensure the Coast Guard is paid and FEMA operations are financed. During a government shutdown, the Coast Guard will carry on overseas assignments and essential missions, but maintenance will be delayed and pay halted for 56,000 personnel. A shutdown lasting beyond a few days could impact salaries and morale, affecting recruitment and retention amid staffing shortages. FEMA would also experience funding disruptions during natural disasters as the partial shutdown persists. FEMA will be forced to prioritize immediate disaster response, suspending non-emergency recovery and slowing rebuilding efforts from previous natural disasters until funding is restored. In February, we completed a base visit to Joint Base San Antonio, Fort Sam Houston, with 2 additional visits planned this year to continue assessing and advocating for improvements in service member quality of life by engaging service members' families and base personnel to identify strategies and challenges. Looking ahead, we move forward in 2026. The National Security Commission remains resolute in its mission. This conference provides an important platform for deeper policy decisions, strengthened legislative advocacy, and renewed engagement with national leaders. We stand at a pivotal point pivotal moment in national security, and your unwavering support has been instrumental in advancing our initiatives. Together, we will continue to safeguard our nation, honor our heroes, uphold the American Legion's proud legacy. Thank you for your dedication to this mission, and may we remain steadfast in service to our nation, our service members, and their families. Thank you.
And now, for one final time tonight, I'd like to introduce our National Commander, Dan K. Wiley.
Thank you, Chairman Jabot. I hope you are as excited as I am about storming the Hill and telling our congressional representatives and staff our issues. And I'm even more excited to testify in front of Congress knowing that I have the support of you, my American Legion family, behind me. We've heard some great speakers today, and I know you are all ready and well equipped to represent the American Legion on the Hill tomorrow. Always remember, be kind, be professional, and be nonpartisan. And remember, you speak for 2.5 million members of the American Legion family. Be the voice also of your brothers and sisters in uniform and their families who cannot be there today or tomorrow. They're counting on you. Lastly, remember, we are better together. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander. Before we close, I have a few announcements. The biggest one is that the Commander's testimony on Wednesday will be at 9:45 instead of 10 a.m. So mark that down. For those of you who have been to a Washington conference before, you know we typically do a rally before we go to the Hill in the same ballroom tomorrow morning. However, this year we're going to do something a little different. We are not going to meet tomorrow morning. Instead, we want you all to go straight to the Hill and get a head start on your advocacy efforts. Roll call will be in the morning between 6:30 and 9 a.m. on the Terrace level of the hotel, so just right upstairs. Legislative Council members, please stop by to confirm your attendance with our staff before you head over to the Hill. Please do not take multiple copies of the information flyers back home with you. All of this information is available on the American Legion website. You can print copies for your use. Staff from the American Legion's DC office will be located in the cafeterias in the basements of Longworth House Building and Dirksen Senate Building with additional point papers and to provide support throughout the day. For transportation to the Commander's testimony on Wednesday morning, buses will stage on the Terrace T level of the hotel at 8 o'clock. If you are in a wheelchair, scooter, or utilizing a mobility device, please be on the Terrace level by 7:30. American Legion staff will be on site to help guide you all, but the last bus will leave the hotel at 8:30 from the Terrace level. Immediately upon conclusion of testimony, all buses will stage at the same drop-off location, and members who are called in for this meeting may pick up their checks at the Finance Department office, located in the Shaw Meeting Room on the first floor of the hotel. They are open every day from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. At this time, if you are able, please stand and uncover. Once again, I call upon Chaplain Pollitt for a prayer.
There's an old Teddy Roosevelt Rough Rider proverb which says, "Let us not follow where the path may lead, but let us go instead where there is no path and leave a new trail." Today, my brothers and sisters, and every time we meet, we honor those individuals who have given us the greatest example in citizenship. The American Legion has never followed the path of others. It has always blazed a new trail in service of our nation's finest, the veterans of the United States of America. Let us pray. O Lord of the far-flung battle, bless the American Legion formed by an allegiance to this great nation of ours. May we share our sacred bond as brothers and sisters in arms. May we find in our camaraderie, in our loyalty, in our fellowship, and in our friendship an unwavering devotion to duty and honor and country. May we look across all that divides America today and still see one nation under God and indivisible. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in your name, you are counted within their ranks. All glory and honor be to you, Almighty God, forever and ever. Amen.
Please recover and join me in rendering a salute to the colors by the numbers. 1, 2. Commander's call is now adjourned. Thank you and see you tomorrow morning, and have fun on the Hill.